Black Op Radio presents 50 Reasons for 50 Years. Why the Warren Commission may be the greatest fraud perpetrated on the American public. Now your host, Len Osanic.
80 minutes after the president had been shot down, Lee Oswald was taken into custody and identified as not just the prime suspect, but the only suspect.
People have given me a hearing without legal representation or anything.
Did you shoot the president?
I didn't shoot anybody, no, sir.
You just heard Oswald, who said he did not shoot anybody.
The scene at Dallas Police Headquarters verged on chaotic as scores of newsmen crowded hallways while police paraded evidence and the suspect before the cameras.
Did you fire that rifle?
Just dispatches you people have been given, but I emphatically deny these charges.
Oswald has hustled through a doorway.
I have not committed any acts of violence.
He says he has nothing against anybody. He has not committed any act of violence.
Are you and the rest of the police convinced you have the right man now?
I think we do.
But so far he's given absolutely no sign of weakening under the questioning?
No.
Are there any other suspects linked with Oswald?
No.
Just after 9 p.m. on the Friday night, a paraffin test was conducted to determine the presence of nitrates on Lee Oswald's hands and cheek, which could indicate whether he had handled a firearm. The test was negative for his right cheek, showing to an 80% certainty that Oswald had not fired a rifle that day. Despite this, Lee Oswald was officially charged.
He's been charged with both killing Officer Tippit and John F. Kennedy. I figure we have sufficient evidence to convict him. There's no one else but him.
So just what was the evidence against Lee Oswald at the time of his arraignment? He supposedly matched the descriptions. He worked at the building where the shots were believed to have been fired. He was missing from the building in the aftermath of the shooting. He was a suspect in the murder of a policeman. He once defected to Russia and more recently had been handing out pro-Castro literature in New Orleans. That's it.
I can tell you that this case is cinched, that this man killed the president, and there's no question in my mind about it.
Is there any doubt in your mind, Chief, that Oswald is the man who killed the president?
I think this is the man that killed the president.
Is there any indication from the investigation to date that would indicate motive on the part of Mr. Oswald?
So far as I know, there's no indication of it.
Do you have anything other than circumstantial evidence right now?
Well, we have some physical evidence.
Can you tell us anything about that physical evidence?
No, sir, I wouldn't.
Do you feel that this case is proceeding as efficiently as you would like it to proceed, or are some doubts beginning to grow as to whether this, in fact, is the man?
No doubts are beginning to grow, but it's a very difficult investigation.
Here is Lee Oswald, the ex-Marine accused of killing President Kennedy. How would you describe his mood during the questioning?
Very arrogant. Has been all along.
What does he say, Chief?
He just denies everything.
Does he say anything else?
Not too much.
Is he responding to questions? Is he refusing to answer questions at this stage?
He doesn't answer questions except to say that's ridiculous, that's silly, that's and deny any knowledge of everything.
Two pieces of evidence linking Oswald with the rifle found on the 6th floor were being evaluated through the day. A mail order form had been discovered which apparently linked Oswald and Hadal to the purchase and delivery of the same model of Italian rifle. But anomalies and inconsistencies with this evidence is such that if Oswald had ever gone to trial, the mail order rifle story would have been vigorously challenged. Photographs had also come to light which appeared to depict Oswald posing with the same rifle. What came to be known as the backyard photos, they were handled or seen by at least 4 witnesses on Friday night, including Michael Payne, who testified as such to the Warren Commission. Captain Fritz recorded in his notes that he had seen the photos about midday on Saturday, but officially the photos had not yet been discovered and wouldn't be until a few hours later in Ruth Payne's garage. The rifle information and the photos were introduced to the media hastily early Saturday evening, helping to prop up a sense of certainty that the case was proceeding smoothly.
The FBI has just informed us that they have the order letter for the rifle. This order letter has been to the laboratory in Washington, D.C., and compared with known handwriting of our suspect, Oswald, and the handwriting is the same on the order letter as Oswald's handwriting. The return address on this order letter was to the post office box in Dallas, Texas, of our suspect, Oswald.
What's the development you referred to today as making the case ironclad, in your opinion?
Referring to the photograph of it?
No.
Where did these photographs come from, Chief?
The photographs were found in out at Irving.
I'm pretty certain this is the rifle that killed the president.
Yes.
Do you consider the case shut tight now, Chief?
We will continue to work on it and try to get every shred of evidence that's possible.
Lee Oswald made 2 phone calls Saturday night. One, at 8 p.m., lasted for 30 minutes, and despite being monitored by several persons, who Oswald called and what was discussed has never been disclosed. At 10:45 p.m., Oswald attempted to place another call, collect, to North Carolina. He had 2 phone numbers, both listed to a John Hurt, 2 separate persons. How Oswald had these numbers is not known. One of the John Hurts had previously served in military intelligence, and researchers have speculated that Oswald may have been trying to talk to a cutout. The call was not permitted to go through. These 2 Saturday evening calls are not mentioned in the Warren report anywhere.
Oswald has made his latest flat denials in the face of a mounting pile of evidence against him. The last links in this case seem to be coming into place tonight. Police have...
Throughout the weekend, the entire case against Lee Oswald was based on circumstantial evidence at best. A few years later, in a memoir, Dallas Police Chief Curry would sum up, "We don't have any proof that Oswald fired the rifle, and never did. Nobody's yet been able to put him in that building with a gun in his hand." One can speculate what might have happened if Lee Oswald had ever gone to trial, but in reality, as the weekend played out, there was an unmistakable sense that Oswald's goose had already been cooked.
We see where Oswald will enter the courthouse. So far, as you know, he's refused to confess. He's been under intermittent questioning now for almost 2 days. The case against him is airtight, but he still doggedly holds out.
Stay tuned for the next installment as we expose week after week 50 lies the Warren Commission would like you to believe.